Customer service. That's what we don't got. You're not getting what you paid. Sometimes you need help with this shit, and you need a human being to talk with you and communicate with you. Somebody who can talk you through whatever you're doing. Like a lot of people, if they were to talk me through some of this stuff, talking me through some of it will help. It's easier if they can see it. So like with video calls, I could hold up the phone and hold it up here and they could see it and all that. They could probably help. Um, if it's a customer service person, I mean, they should be pretty well versed in how to do that anyway. If they've got a bit of experience under the belt, it doesn't really take much. And if they don't have a lot of experience under their belt, then they call over their supervisor, and their supervisor teaches them in person how to do it, how to find this stuff. They get lost. I've actually called so many numbers that I've actually caught a few people on their training days. It's their very first day there. They go, "Yep, well, sir, I'm new here, so I don't know how to answer your question." So they call over their supervisor. He says, "Oh, it's this button right here." Oh, but I recorded a couple of things earlier with eBay, um, trying to find their phone number. There's a buyer that wants to buy a couple of my grenade launcher sights. It's I sold them for $8 a piece, and shipping I charged him $7, and it's actually more than $7 to ship it. But because he was only my second order, the first one went smoothly, but I had help with it. This is only my second order, and it says sold on December 7th. It's December 10th now. I tried to call them. There's no way to call them. You go around in circles, just like the police fucking their site. I did have a couple of complete strangers try to help me with that up in Washington State. They were as fucking lost as I was. You know anything about computers? Yeah, I know quite a bit about computers. But you know how to fill out like forms and stuff? Yeah, I know how to do that. All right. Well, you think you could help me? Sure, I could do that. Well, good. Thank goodness for good people. And by the end of it, it's like, dude, I don't fucking know. I guess if fucking the cops do bad shit to you, you should probably shoot yourself. One of them actually said that, but I should actually tell the whole context of that story, um, because the exact words were a little bit different. But the gist of the story was that if that stuff happened to him, he would have. Like, dude, yeah, I don't know what the hell to tell you, dude. And then there's a couple other ones. They're friends with the people who stole my stuff, and when I went and got it back, like that kind of, how do I explain this? They had all planned on going to the dude who stole my computer when he stole my computer and trading him for my computer so they could get some money from me so that they could go get some meth and some heroin. And well, that didn't work out too good because another homeless dude, he knew where it was, knew where the guy was passed out. The guy had been trying to sell it, and he took me down there, and I'm like, oh my God, this dude asked me if he could use my computer this morning. I let him use my computer, try to contact his family. I let him use my phone to contact his family. and he fucking stole it when I went to the bathroom. The second guy to steal my stuff was and by the way, when that guy who helped me find the first dude, the guy who stole my computer, that's on this YouTube. Me and the guy who helped me find it. You can hear that conversation there. Um, and then there was the girl that stole my phone, and it's when she stole my phone is when Rihanna was trying to get a hold of me because it was an emergency and she needed to talk to somebody and she needed to get somewhere safe, and everybody was bullshitting her. But I didn't have that phone, of course, because that lady who had asked me if she could use my phone fucking stole my phone. So there was a lady named Stephanie, and she sent me some money so I could get out of there. But with my phone stolen, I had to use that money to get my other phone back. And I know some of y'all are going to be like, well, why didn't you just buy yourself a new phone? It's because that phone was full of evidence. And when I got it back and I read that thing from Rand, I was glad that I got that phone back. There's like 6 or 7 in a series there of the girl who stole my phone. She actually ended up staying in my vehicle for a few nights, and she was just scared, you know. And she had her dog with her, and her dog was probably the sweetest thing. I mean, that's the best part about all these places that I was, that I felt some bit of comfort. When I was at Shannon Alvarado's and I was hearing her screaming every fucking night, I was cuddling with the dog. Over at Aunt B's, when Uncle D was being a fucking jackass and Aunt B wasn't speaking up, I was cuddling with the dogs. Over at Tom Nelson's, when he got a little bit too much drink in him and he was just in that you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong fucking phase, all his dogs come in and slept on top of me. They made me feel safe and warm and loved. Dogs make me feel loved. Dogs will protect me. If you try to hurt me, dogs will protect me. And that's weird. Rihanna's ex-husband, Ryan Ingersoll of Cheyenne, Wyoming. He has a dog named Aria, and he tried to shoulder check me one day. And his dog growled at him and protected me. His own dog. You know, it broke Rihanna's heart that she couldn't take her dog with her. She wanted to. She said, you know, it sucks. I got to get myself going here. I can't take care of my dog right now, and I really want to. Couldn't even take care of her dogs. And Amy Amy pawned her kids off on Rihanna so she'd go on a fucking drug bender in Colorado. Took a year and a half to get her to admit it, and it just so happened to be on a night where she thought that Josh was gonna fucking kill her. That's on here too. So the customer service thing, you need to talk to a person. Here I was trying to help out this buyer. He agreed to the price, and then he got back a hold of me and had some sort of complaint, so I told him I'd send him another one for absolutely free. But because it costs more to ship, I charged more when I put a new one up. So he went and looked at that new one and he was like, all right, well, dude, I'm not paying 30 bucks in shipping and then for all three of these, dude. I'm like, no, dude, you're not paying that at all. I'm sending you one absolutely free. I'm covering that. I'm sending you one out of my own pocket. I'm sending you one. And then he's telling me that, he can buy three of them at some other place for 35 bucks. And I'm like, yeah. And what I'm telling you is that you're going to get three of them for less than the agreed upon price that eBay already agreed to. And now you're being all wishy-washy. I'm going to send you a completely free one. Like, I'm not going to make a profit off of this doing that. That rat typed, I've not much eBay problems. Well, I'm giving it an effort, but without being able to get a hold of them, and then I got to use the QC code so I can do it down at the local post office. I tried it the last time and couldn't get it to work, but this time the lady at the post office said if it doesn't work, just come down there and she'll help me with it, so that I'll know how to do it. That's somebody in person. And by the way, I've known that girl too for a lot of years. We went to school together. We were in different classes, but in Chapel High School, um, it's the junior high school and the senior high school all put together. The guy who I'm staying with here, he's not too much younger than me. I knew who he was growing up. I went to church with him. Can you imagine that? Me in church? But that was the church, the one I got here to Chapel, Nebraska, and mind you, I've been going to a Foursquare church in Washington State, and it's pretty big, and it's all black folks, and it's lively and it's fun, and the people there are just good people, and they know stuff. Like you don't got to tell them you've been through some shit. They know you've been through some shit. You're walking into a black church, and then I come down here, and my very first day here, there's people who are bragging to me about being in the KKK, right? And then I go to church with my mom and Scott. That's my stepdad's name. And I go into the church, and guess what? There's them two men that told me they was in the KKK. That rat typed I hated church. They made me go in school. Well, anyway, a lot of this stuff I've been trying to troubleshoot it myself, but it's getting to the very end of the deadline, and I'm like, guys, I'm trying, you know. So I printed a shipping label, and then the shipping label wasn't right. I didn't do the QC code thing, so I canceled the shipping label, and they're not gonna let me print a new shipping label for a couple of days. Meanwhile, this dude is at least being patient. It's been a couple of days. I'm fucking half tempted to send him the fucking free one with 10 bucks in his pocket. This isn't problems that we should be fucking having. So I go to the help thing, and it sends me to one fucking article after another, after another, after another. And, I've been reading articles. Oh my God. Like, there's a bunch of other stuff I have to remember. There's a bunch of shit that is extremely important I got to remember. And then I got to try to remember all this shit that I've read in the articles. And I'm going, oh my God, I need a human being. Fuck. She was going to help me with that. I got to. So I canceled the shipping label so I could try to do it the right way. And it says that it'll take a couple of days for them to send me my money back. But No, he's not an eBay scammer. He's a bargain hunter. So I guess they technically are scammers. Um, but a bargain hunter sees something that's a good bargain, and they want to stock up on two or three of them because they might know somebody. This guy might know somebody with an M1 Garand. Or US M1 carbine. That was the most widely produced US firearm of World War II. Let me see if I have one of these that's open. I've got them all over the place. Let me see. Well, I'll show you what they look like. They look like this. It comes in a pouch like this. These are original World War II, 1944 issue. I have 450 of them. A lot of times, if you don't have money, people will take it out and trade. Sometimes you get a hell of an investment. Now, the funny thing is, the only thing that I have that these would be useful on are airsoft rifles. They have airsoft bores, and these work the very same as the airsoft ones. They have approximately the same range. These are not for anything long range. This is for a grenade that is propelled by a gas charge. So I mean, it doesn't fly for like 1,000 meters or some crap like that. That rat typed airsoft shit. Well, dude, really, if you think about it, these are manufactured for the real thing. These are manufactured for. Let me read what this says. These are the instructions for installing it on the side of. Let me see. It says for M19. Oh, grenade launcher sight M15. For M1903, M1903A1, M1903A3, M1 rifle, and M1 carbine. Use at locating jig for locating and drilling holes in stock for screws. A. It was literally built during World War II. They didn't have airsoft in World War II. So, yeah, this isn't a knockoff. This is original. Actually, I got lucky. The guy who helped me to get these, he took me back to where he got them from, and he's like, hey, if you want to buy something. So I went there with him. You know, he bought an entire box for me, and he was like, you know what, we'll just take this out and trade. I'm like, fuck yeah. But they're pretty historical. You know, that's one of the things I like about them, because nobody's going to have the grenades to attach to it. Getting the grenade launcher thing, if you attach it to your firearm, you're allowed to do it, but only if you do not own any grenades. Once you own a grenade, whether or not you have the captor piece or not, the captor piece holds the grenade. And it's even if it's a dummy grenade, I believe I would have to look into that. No, because a dummy grenade is cored out. It's got a hole drilled in the bottom. It's made so that it isn't going to be effective. But also the caps and everything are defused. They pour stuff on them that makes them so they're inert. It's a big process before you can get one of them dummy grenades. But if you have a live grenade, that's considered a destructive device. But it also attaches to the end of, like, say, the M1 carbine or the M1 Garand rifle or something like that. If you have one of those with the grenade launcher attachment on the end of it, and you're in possession of an actual live grenade, then you're in possession of 6 or 7 different felonies, unless you have a Class 2 manufacturer's license and you have everything registered. How do I know that? Yeah, you want to see something cool that's airsoft, that rat? I don't even remember what this video is supposed to be about. Isn't that odd? Oh yeah, eBay. All right, so I canceled the shipping label. The shipping label now says that um, since I canceled it, it won't let me reprint it, and it won't let me print a new one with the QC code. Apparently, I have to wait a couple of days for that to work. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna, I got them for cheap as fuck. I'm gonna go down there and I'm gonna pay just to send him 3 of them on my own and let him know that I'll send him out 2 more. I didn't want to have an issue with this guy, and a lot of the issues that we're having, this isn't his fucking fault. It's not. Even if he is a scammer, like none of this shit is his fault. And it's not my fault either. I'm fucking trying. This stuff is not very user friendly, especially for somebody who's not familiar with it. So I'm doing the best I can, and I do have enough money to send him 3 of them, and not, I don't know, fuck, I mean, let me see this. I've got his address here. I'm just gonna send it to him. What the fuck? Why is it still having that on there? Oh my god. They don't even have the right fucking address on my PayPal. See, I made this years ago, and it cost me a lot of money. PayPal did, and they didn't make any offer to make amends at all. Um, Neither did Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo forgave a lot of the fucking expense, but I still had to pay like $290 out of pocket. It was enough to clear out my entire account. Anyway, I've got this guy's address. I'm about to message him that there's going to be 3 in the mail, and there will be. The post office, I'm going to go down there probably about 9 or 10. The reason for that is because 9 or 10 is about the time that they're either putting the mail in or they're finished up already. So 10 o'clock is probably a better idea. Oh, oh my God. Oh, y'all ever get one of them stings like inside of your nose? It doesn't sting. It's like that weird sensation that makes you need to sneeze, but it's like really intense. Oh, all right. I didn't sneeze. I did good. Anyway, so I guess I got it figured out well enough for now, and I'm gonna get a hold of that guy and say, hey, dude, fucking none of this shit's your fault, and it's not my fault. Fuck them. I'll send you 3 of them. Expect 2 more of them in the mail. Just don't cancel your purchase. Fucking, I'll make amends. I'll use what your original purpose was to cover the expense. It's not something I wanted to do, but I mean, what can you do? Oscar Anderson typed, hey, what's up? Well, I'm trying to figure out eBay, and I am in a hurry up and wait mode. I gotta wait for the thing that I canceled to be redone, and then I gotta, fuck, dude, there's like 4,000 hoops I gotta jump through for every one goddamn thing that I'm dealing with. I'm overwhelmed with all of this. I know I've got one of these that are opened already, so I'm gonna find one. I don't want to open one up because they're what's called new old stock. These were all made in 1944. Is this one open already? No. All right. And yes, I do attach those to my just in case of emergency packs. I figured out a couple of good uses for them, and they're non-military. I mean, the items themselves are military, just not my purposes. Here's one. Yeah. All right, we got it. Yeah, baby, you got it. All right, so here's what the pouch looks like. Case carrying 7160198. Something Pierce Manufacturing Company, maybe 1944. The thing itself looks like this. This is what it looks like through the sight picture. Sorry, I'm trying to line it up, but I'm not. I'm not doing a very good job, am I? Here we go. But this thing fits on the side of it, like this, on a plate. Sorry, it's actually on the other side of the rifle. Um, Basically, you'd be looking through this part, and it comes out this part, and it goes on the side above the trigger mechanism. I have an airsoft rifle here I can show you on. And because it's airsoft, I'm not going to get in trouble for showing it to you. Keeping my mind occupied by building stuff, also people with similar interests, that helps me. Here in Nebraska, a lot of the people that have similar interests as me, um, they're scared to be around me because a lot of people will be mean to them, and they know it. And it sucks. But I'm more safe here relatively than anywhere else. Um, this actually is removable because most of the time you don't want that on there. That's a big bulky fucking thing on the side of your suit or on the side of your rifle that's going to get caught on every fucking thing. So they make these things here. What is this thing here? I'll show you. This is called a mounting plate. And I don't know what they call it, but it's a mounting plate. It even looks like a little mini plate. See, it goes, there's two bolts. They go through those two holes on there. And you see the degrees there? That's for the angle. That helps you to figure out the distance. And then this plate, this thing attaches to it, and this little viewer on the top will show you at what angle it's at. Although a lot of riflemen, they didn't want to do that. They were in too much of a hurry to do a bunch of stuff like that, so they had band settings on their rifle slings. And I'll show you what I mean. I made an art piece out of garbage from out in the yard. This is Nebraska. We live right next to the city dump. There's been people dropping stuff off over there, and it kind of blows into the fence, and it sits right along the fence line. And eventually, it'll either blow under, through, or over the fence if it's something soft like plastic bag. And then there's stuff that was There was a building that used to be here, and there was burlap and stuff like that in it. But I took one of my airsoft rifles and I turned it into an art piece. See, it's got the bright orange tip on it. But doesn't that look like a fucking tree? No, it doesn't. But for the most part, it's pretty well camoed out. If you didn't know what it was, you'd probably be hard pressed to tell. I mean, it's got like 9 inches of bark covering portions of it, of the handguard and stuff like that. But it's an art piece. It's just airsoft, and you got to cock it by pulling this thing here. But it's just a little fucking plastic BB, and since you have to do that, you have to take it off your shoulder every time you use it. That's why when I was looking at the stuff in the yard, and I'm like, I could fucking do better than that guy did with fucking garbage. That airsoft guy. And I did. I certainly did. And it's not all garbage. Some of it's just biodegradable. However, that's not the one that I can show you that with. This one also airsoft, orange tip. With the rifles, which you can do. It's too bad I don't have something higher up. You set the butt against the ground right here, and then you have lines of tape. I've got two of them, one here and one here. What they used to do in World War II is they would put 3 lines of tape on there, and they were each for a certain yardage distance. And what they do is they would take the butt, put it on the ground, and then they would extend the sling out until it was at that piece of tape, and they'd put their foot there instead of using the sight. This would be pre-ranged. And then the next piece of tape, like say this one was 200 yards, and this one was 150 yards, and then you have one more for like 50 yards. Then you can figure out your distance in between there, or approximate distance, based on how much space there is in between them. Like if you know that it's just a little under 200 yards, you can move your foot an inch back or so. If that doesn't work, then you can adjust accordingly. Oscar Anderson typed, I can relate, being overwhelmed. I wondered since I started watching your videos, where are you? In an attic? No, I'm in a square box. Literally a square box. The floor plan is a 5x5 square box. It's also barely 6 foot tall at the tall part of the slope. Anyway, so this thing right here, and here's the 2 screws that go into it. Now these are meant to go into a wooden buttstock. I do not have a wooden buttstock on this, obviously. So putting those onto it is probably not going to be that effective. This thing is mostly plastic, so its effectiveness is with metal parts attached to it. I don't know if it would hold up. That's not to say that it wouldn't. I just wouldn't trust it enough to try it. I'm not going to be trying to resell any of these. This thing right here is still going to be good for getting birds. It basically does the same thing that a shotgun does. It just doesn't shoot them at as high of a velocity. So anything that's got skin thicker than a bird's, which is pretty much everything, this thing is not going to do anything to a squirrel except piss it off. And then the squirrel would come beat the fuck out of me. He'd be pissed off. He'd be battered, but he'd be fucking pissed. A bird, yeah, I could get them for dinner with this. But where the trigger grouping is on these, is right here. So where this would go would be right about here. Oh, sorry, right about there. This one is not made out of trash from the yard. This is made out of stuff that I got at Cabela's. I figure I can do a better job and I can put some more craftsmanship into it. And I put together one prototype just to test out the concept and go, you know what? None of this has to look perfect or pretty. What it needs to do is help me to establish a pattern that I can utilize later. Something that I can work with in order to work out all the kinks. I know how to do it right and proper as far as all of the cutting and trimming and all of that stuff goes. It's just not worth it for the original prototype because there's a lot of stuff you're going to want to work out. It's not something you're probably going to try to sell. And although this is probably something that I could sell uh, as web gear for the airsoft AR-15 platform, um, I'm going to give it a little bit of time because I've got some supplies that are going to be coming in that'll make it a whole lot easier, a whole lot more time efficient, and will increase its ability to stay intact. I don't want stuff that's just going to fucking fall apart. This stuff right here is cheap ass blind material. By blind, you guys who know what a hunting blind is know what a blind is. Those of you who don't know what a hunting blind is, look up hunting blind. All right, so I just got this image of a blind person walking around with a shotgun in the forest, and I'm like, oh my god, see. And that's not something that I should laugh at. I know that's not something that should be a funny thought. And somebody who is blind might not find that amusing at all. But it's a thought that ran through my head. It's one of those things people might say, you know, Sean, you should probably filter that mouth of yours. I don't think that's possible. I really do try to be mindful of that, but damn, you know, I'm gonna get emotional. I really am. There's a lot of stuff that I get emotional at recently, especially. I guess with all the free shit on this, it makes it kind of difficult to see where it should go. So I'll pull out my other one. I have one that's completely bright red, and this one's probably out of all of them I got, this one's my favorite. I'm not a big fan of the blue color. I like red better. And this thing fires Nerf darts. See, bright orange tip. Nerf dart. All right. So on big bright fucking red thing. See, him is big bright and fucking red. All right. This thing right here would be secured right about here with the two screws. They go on at a slight angle. And then this would attach to it. And it's got these two little things in the side here. And there's some grooves on those two side spring looking thingies. One on each side. And those fit into that. And then it's got these little serrations on the back. I think they call that a fan fan gear press or some shit like that. But these things, these two tabs will click into those and you can click the different gradient. Personally, if I was in that situation, I probably wouldn't use this because after you've attached everything else, this goes back in your pouch. And if it's attached to your hip and you're trying to pull it out, it's not necessarily easy to get out, even if you think it is. Like, in order to make this so that I could grab it out and show it to people easily, I had to take the Cosmoline paper that came with it. That's this stuff here. And I had to make a liner in the bottom. by folding it up and folding it up to give rigidity and then stuffing it in there. And that makes it so this goes in and out pretty easily. And, you know, sure, this is already attached to the thing, but you got to figure, all right, as soon as somebody is close enough that you're using one of these, time is of the fucking essence. So, yeah, it's probably better just to use tape. It's the cheap man's method, and it's the easiest. It's also the easiest to adjust. This is for super fine adjusting, but under fire, that ain't necessarily gonna happen. There's a lot of stuff like that one right there. That'll actually accept some military rifle parts, like a butt stock and stuff like that. Of course, you can't put a AR-15 or M16 friggin' anything else on it, but you know, it's made for airsoft. It's got a friggin' aluminum barrel. It's got a plastic everything else. And I kind of like that. It does kind of keep the weight down. I think that one's about 6 pounds. This one is about 2.5 pounds, I suppose. And this one right here, even with everything on it, I'd venture to say this is less than 2 pounds. And it looks bulky and it looks heavy because you might think of, you know, wood having some heft to it. And with that bark on it, it kind of does look like it might have some heft to it. It looks pretty bulky. It widens it. It makes it taller. It makes it look bigger. That's something that we know a lot about, isn't it? Puffing up. Make yourself look bigger and more impressive. Sometimes it's to get a mate. Sometimes it's to scare off predators. Sometimes it's to pretend somebody is a predator to impress a mate. People are stupid. Plan accordingly. Another thing that I don't know if I invented it. I haven't seen anything like it. I was thinking about making ghillie bands. It's a really cool idea. Now this one is also airsoft. It's got a plug in the end of it, so it's not going to shoot anything. That's right, I sealed off the barrel. Please don't hate me. This one right here and this one right here are just for show. When I got them, I was under the impression, well, with this one anyway, I was under the impression that it was going to be a little bit easier to recock it for every shot than having to pull back the actual cocking mechanism, because that's a pain in the ass on an AR-15. That's still in the wrong place. On an AR-15 platform, that thing right there should be attached at the front and not the rear. Your cocking mechanism on the front should be the lower half of your grip. The lower half of your front grip should pump like on a shotgun. That's my personal fucking opinion, and if you don't like it, kiss my ass. I hope you enjoy your Christmas. Anyway, this thing was completely black when I got it. It's got some tape on the handle just to kind of help break up a little bit and to provide me extra grip, because this is plastic. Plastic, if it gets rainy or whatever, even though this grip has a little bit of texture, it's not the best texture. But it's not real, of course. It doesn't have real bullets in it or anything. But it is electric and has a cycling action. It also has a safety. If you look at that, these don't hardly move at all when I do that because they're not touching the slide. Now all it is there's this little groove here, and it's on a lot of the rifles too. And you could also use these for your ghillie suits. The ones for the pistol size or water gun size, if you guys are playing water pistols, I'm fucking down with that too. one thing that I want to get next month. I want to get. They have a thing I found on eBay, and I fell in love. Don't hate me, but it's like a 100 pack of fucking brightly colored fucking squirt guns for like next to nothing. It's like $7 or $8. I'm like, oh my god, I gotta get that, but I don't. For me, it's a matter of having room. Um, if I could get rid of an entire crate of these uh, grenade launcher sights, then I would have room to get more stuff. Right now, I have it set up so that my walls are dedicated to different stuff. My wall over here is dedicated to airsoft and stuff like that, and I'm going to try to make a business with it. Not selling them. I don't want to sell any of them. And a lot of people are like, well, what if they break? Well, like, it doesn't matter if they break. I'll fix them. I'm really good at fixing shit. As long as it has all the parts, if one of them breaks, I can fucking fix it or replace it. Anyway, this is what this thing looks like by itself without that thing on it. Custom paint job. Did it myself. And yeah, I get that it's fucking shiny. I did that for a reason. And I do have the right paint to make it completely flat colored. But, well, for trying to make something that's painted and have it pop out in a picture, it's important to have at least a little bit of sheen to it. So I made sure that it has a little bit of both so that it shows that it helps to bring out the different colors by having different textures to them because they're very close in color. But the thing that was on it just looks like this. It's just a rubber band with some raffia used to tie around it and a little bit of the stuff that's left over from, not this one, but from the BB one. Some of the leftovers from that. And yeah, it's easy as shit. But if I can, come up with a decent way to do this, um, then I could probably make maybe not enough to live on, but make better than nothing. I like the way things work. Now, a lot of the other stuff that I like to work on is a lot bigger, but as you can tell, I like artsy fartsy kind of shit. I'm a very arts and crafts oriented person. Um, a lot of my projects weren't even my ideas to start off with. It was somebody who had an okay idea, but just never wanted to do anything with it or just never put any effort towards it. Or they're just really fucking old ideas that nobody cared about and they threw away and did nothing with. Like there's a woman named Amanda Payne, and one of my ideas about harvesting energy, she came up with a better idea. And although people have actually come up with that idea as well, others it's not patentable because the patent is expired. It's a very old patent. She thought of it as a brand new thing, and it really is. If I ever have a place to build it, despite the fact that I'm not a real big fan of Amanda fucking Payne, yeah, I'd pay her part. Electric powered. Anyway, I got to deal with real predators, and obviously, if you go back and look at the news articles with Ted Bollinger and many of my other predators, they have guns. They have access to guns. They're not allowed to have guns. And they're scared shitless of me for having a 88-cent Walmart water pistol filled with jalapeno juice. You think that's scary? I got Nerf now, motherfucker. What good is that gonna do me? None. But it'd be funny to watch. Anyway, y'all be safe. I better get back to this. Um, Now that I was able to come up with a solution, I'm gonna calm down by watching a couple of historical videos. Um, I was thinking about either rewatching something on the Horton 229, or possibly watch something about the USS Missouri, the BB-63. I was aboard the BB-63. BB stands for battle boat. That's the naval designation for the USS Missouri, USS Iowa. Very big battleships. I've actually been on board the USS Missouri in Bremerton Naval Shipyard in Bremerton, Washington, um, just prior to the 50th anniversary of the signing of the end of World War II. It was pretty cool. Literally the day before, and I got to actually touch the plaque on the floor. Oh, I should show you this. Oh my God, that is a cool piece of history that I got to touch myself. USS Missouri plaque. Hopefully it works. I'm a big fan of history. I don't like war, but I like knowing shit. All right, boys and girls. It's loading up a picture now that I can show y'all. It didn't load it up. We'll try it again. Holy fuck. Yeah, it all takes time, doesn't it? It's the plaque that is in the spot where the table sat that the end of World War II was signed on in Tokyo Bay. On board the USS Missouri, by the way. All right, so it's showing gray things. It's not showing pictures. Some of them are gray, some are green. Oh, there they go. That's the plaque. I was told growing up stuff that I wanted to believe, that the cops were the good guys and that the military were the boys who saved us in World War II. The older I get, the more I realize that that just wasn't true. Them days are long past. I mean, our government looked at what they achieved and the way they did it, and they went, all right, well, how do we trick our own people into doing that? I'm fairly certain that most of the politicians in Congress, Senate, White House, I'm pretty sure they've all read Mein Kampf. But all you would get out of Mein Kampf, it's a book I recommend everyone reads, regardless of your skin color. It's about control. Adolf Hitler was a very smart man, but he was also very stupid, very self-centered, and didn't give a fuck about human life. His doctrines, if you read Mein Kampf, you will realize that you are living the doctrines that he wanted to put in place when he first wrote that book. Not only that, but the end of World War II gave us and the Russians all the control that the Japanese and the Germans were after. We have troops everywhere. People owe us favors everywhere. Of course, we owe them favors too, so. Anyway, y'all be safe. I'm gonna hopefully stop talking right now and get something done. Oh, and then there's the gracious fucking please send me money fucking plea. If you send me money, it's just a temporary band-aid. It's not gonna do me any good beyond just being a temporary band-aid until I can get someone here in person to help. A temporary band-aid is better than nothing. It's just the longer it takes to get someone to help in person, the more band-aids I need. So on PayPal, it's at Dogged Roman. And I'll type that here at Dogged Roman if you want to donate to my PayPal. If there's somebody who is willing to sign or co-sign for some property, I won't be able to get it myself. I can save up and pay the cash outright for it. I just, with everything that happened in the last few years, part of the punishment is not being able to get a bank account. People didn't keep their word, and when they didn't keep their word, it fucked me severely, and none of them care that it fucked me severely, and that does hurt very much. I do have some money right now to invest. I have about $1,500. I'm pretty sure by Christmas time that'll have dwindled down to 1,000. I need help here in this town, and that takes a lot of palm greasing. A lot more than you might imagine. Goods and services I could take care of myself in an hour of time with my own vehicle. I'm instead greasing palms and doing favors for people for a week straight before they ever do anything. So by the time it's all said and done, I've spent 40 hours dealing with bullshit I don't want to deal with. And I've spent a lot of money to try to fucking grease them palms. Try to make these people happy, because if they don't get what they want, then I'm the bad guy. I'm the bad guy. I'm the bad guy. Fuck. If you want to donate, donate to my PayPal. That'll help out a little bit. Hopefully with that 1,500, most of it's got to go into my truck to get it legal. I think I can still possibly get insurance. It's going to be more expensive than it should be, but I'm hoping it'll still be less than 100 a month. And of course, if I get it 6 months at a time and it's all paid in full, it shouldn't be too difficult. I needed help getting my resources back so that people wouldn't, first of all, be able to use the fact that I use their resources to fucking throw shit in my face. Like I wasn't fucking trying. I didn't ask for all of my money to be taken. I didn't ask to be disabled. I can't take care of myself because of the things that happen to me. I'm doing the best that I can, but I literally want to blow my head off every moment of every day. Until someone shows up in person to help me, I'm fucked. And telling me to continue moving places. I've moved repeatedly because people said that they would help me and then they didn't. And I made sure it wasn't their word versus mine because I recorded that shit. Goddamn right I did. And they want to be pissed off at me, that's fucking fine. They're not going through this shit.